Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello everybody. Well, there was something that I wanted to bring up for today because I noticed that, since Biden kind of snuck out of the country here yesterday or the day before and went over to Ukraine, the topic of how much this country is spending on helping out Ukraine comes up, okay? And that's what happened this time. So when he went over there, then people here started complaining, oh, we're sending too much money to them, and we're spending trillions of dollars, and how much is he spending here at home, okay? And I know a lot of you that have been following politics, this is probably nothing new. You probably heard this being said online or on the radio or on television or what have you. Okay, you got a bunch of people who feel like, Biden's attention should be here and not over there. And Biden, for all he does, he's been trying to tell people how important it is to defend Ukraine, because that would be defending us at the same time. Because if you recall, how in World War II and stuff, the United States wasn't really interested in getting involved in that war at that time, okay? Until it came up and kicked them square in the ass in Pearl Harbor. Then they realized that oceans don't protect us from other countries, and that enemies can attack us from anywhere. And so the country all of a sudden became all pro-war, and they started their fight. This is a situation that kind of mirrors that in a way, because you got this big country, Russia, invading Ukraine. Okay, a country is trying to be democratic, okay, and probably would eventually had become part of NATO at some point, okay. They were prospering pretty well over there, and all of a sudden, out of the clear blue, Putin decides he's going to invade the country, and the rest of the world was saying, why? What the hell's going on here? And Ukraine, of course, their military doesn't come close to matching what Russia had. Okay, so they felt like, well, we got to do something. Okay, we have to help them out because, they're a democratic nation, and they deserve our protection. Okay, so we couldn't send troops over. We couldn't send people there to fight it, because that would sort of be like, well, we're declaring war on Russia, and that would cross the line and draw the whole world into World War III, okay? So instead, we have to do this proxy war fight through Ukraine, where we send supplies and food and medical stuff and whatever else they need down there to fight this thing out. And while this was going on, people here at home are sitting here talking about how much was being spent on this in this endeavor, okay? Not at first, okay? It took several months before people started to, complain. Which I don't understand how people think a war can be fought in 2 days and over, okay? I'm sorry. Yes, the United States is a superpower, but that kind of war is not going to end in 2 days if we fight it conventionally, okay? If we use nukes, yeah, then the whole world ends, but if you're going to fight a war against a big country like Russia, in the way that they're doing it, yeah, you're looking at some long time there to fight this thing. I mean, look how long it took to, World War II. We were just going after Germany, okay? It didn't end overnight, okay? And so people have to understand it's only been what, a year, a whole year maybe. I don't know. It's been a while, and it's really not long enough. Not that long when you're going up against a superpower like Russia. All right. So yes, people should have realized at that point that if the United States was going to get involved in this, it was going to cost us in equipment and food and whatever they needed. Now, you see, people are confusing this issue here with money going over there. We're not sending Ukraine cash, okay? We're not sending them gold bars. We're not sending them money. What the hell good is that to them? They can't use that to fight a battle over there. What we're sending them, like I said, is tanks, missiles, medical supplies, food, whatever they need over there, okay? And what we do is we total all that up in a dollar amount to try to give you an idea of how much we're sending over there in this dollar amount. It doesn't mean that the United States went into the treasury and ditched and hauled out trillions of dollars and just shipped it over to Ukraine and say, here's some money. That ain't how it works. Okay, when you're firing a machine gun, there's not papered ones coming out of the fucking barrel, okay? But for some reason, people in America seem to think that we're sending them money. Well, no, we're not sending them money. We're sending them what they need to fight. And guess what happens here at home when we do that? It creates a need to build more. It's putting people to work to create more tanks, more bullets, more guns, more ammo, more stuff to send over there. All right, so we're making jobs here, okay, when we're sending stuff to Ukraine. Okay, because for everything we send them, we got to replace here. So, yeah, we're spending, $1 trillion, $2 trillion, whatever we spent so far over there. But we're also making money for the things that we're building here to send to them. So this is not about a cash grab. Okay, believe me, if it was just about cash, every country in the world would have been coming to us saying, we need your money to end whatever problem they conjure up. This is not about getting money to end anything, because the cash alone ain't going to be to stop this fight. This is about equipment and supplies and aid and stuff and what they need, and that's where the money, the dollar figure, comes from when they talk to you on TV and the radio about what we've spent. Okay, that's how we gauge the cost of a war. It's not by how it's not about sending money or whatever. It's about sending equipment. Okay, and so when people here try to take that and say, well, why isn't Biden spending that money here at home? Well, in a way he is, because, like I said, he's created jobs by he just created a demand for more military equipment here now. So there's people working in the factories here to make replacements. You got to replace what you lost over there, and I know he's Ukraine. Zelensky there has lost, people and equipment and stuff already in the numerous battles they've had there. So the United States is still supplying them with arms, so somebody's got to make that stuff, right? And so we have that perception out there that, people need to kind of stop and backpedal a little bit and say, look, it's not money we're shipping over there, it's equipment that you're not going to need. Okay, what the hell do you need with a fucking tank? This is military expenditures, and this is the kind of supplies we're sending them, what they're getting, okay, from us. And United States at the start of this was all for helping out Ukraine. Okay, it really was. I mean, everybody was gung-ho about going over there and going after Putin. Sure, a lot of us had different ideas on how we can do that, and how we want to try and end this thing as soon as possible. At the same time, people kind of forgot that we're not just fighting a little country here. Okay, it wasn't like going into Iraq and then kicking that country over in a week or so like that. We're going up against all of Russia's military in Ukraine, and since we're using Ukraine, the people in Ukraine, to fight this war for us over there, basically for themselves, we can't really mobilize too much because we're sort of in a bottleneck, all right, fighting this thing. if it spreads outside of Ukraine into the neighboring countries, then the problem is going to get escalated really fast, okay? Because then you're looking at NATO and everything, and Russia doesn't want to drag them into this thing either, okay? I mean, I know they're hearing the condemnations, you know, from NATO about what he's done and everything, but I know at the same time Putin is not interested in taking on another country at the same time, even though the other countries are sending Zelensky supplies like we are. He doesn't want to get you know, dragging another country. He's going to have to fight on another battlefront, okay? Because they got, you know, they had their asses handed to them at the beginning of the war, and now they're really getting nasty here because you know, they're trying to gain ground in that country, and you know, it's really, at this point now, it's really getting bad over there. And you know, the people that I speak to online who are there, they you know, they're scared, but at the same time their spirits are high in hope that the United States will come through enough to help them. I mean, that's really where they're pinning all their hopes on, is that the United States will save them somehow, because that's really their best chance of surviving. So when you hear these people talk, and you know, they think anyone who's from the United States talking to them, that's a sign that, you know, inside they're really scared, okay? And you know, they're innocent civilians just like me and anybody else out there. They don't want this war, okay? They didn't want Russia going in there, and they don't want to lose their homes and their family and their lives and stuff over there. You know, they want it to end too. Okay, but for a lot of people who live in the towns and cities, that's a big target for Putin. Okay, I mean, there's people live in the outskirts and stuff like that who might hear some action taking place or may not, depending on where they are. But they're very much aware that, you know, they can't just drive into a town somewhere and expect that, you know, they're not, you know, something's not going to happen. So there's a lot of fear, and plus these people during the dead of winter are you know, they don't have electricity all day long. They don't have internet all day long either, because Putin is playing with that over there while this is happening. So there's a lot of things going on, and these people really look to us, to the United States, to help them. I mean, why would they ask us if they didn't think we was going to help, okay? Of course they would ask us, and of course we should have to help them, because at the end of the day, I mean, any democratic nation is our ally, you know, because, you know, we consider ourselves the capital of democracy in the world, okay? Even though we've got tons of problems we're trying to deal with here, we're the go-to nation if you're a democracy, if you need help, okay? And I mean, what else could they do? You know, even if Zelensky went to another country, a democratic country, and asked them for help, the United States would still be dragged into it because we're part of the NATO, okay? You see, so this money was going to get spent in supplies and stuff like that to help them out, okay? And it's better that way than spending all that money fighting a war that had no reason to be fought. And you know what I'm talking about, okay? Even though, you know, that war was really not necessary, and we couldn't really stop it, you know, but we spent 20 years in Afghanistan, and what did we had to show for it? Okay, we got, you know, a whole bunch of people with PTSD. They're coming home messed up to a country that's falling apart, you know, society-wise, and nobody asks how much money did we spend fighting that war. Okay, how much stuff we used in resources. Nobody bothers to ask that question, okay? But everybody seems to have a cash register in their head right now because of Ukraine, on the and they're just, you know, cha-ching, cha-ching, you know, and then they have the number. You know, where were these people back when we were fighting Afghanistan? It seemed like for a long time people forgot we were even over there, okay? And so that war was a forever war, and it had no end, it had no goal in sight of how we were going to end it. So Biden, you know, thankfully said enough is enough. We're getting the hell out of there, okay? And considering how many soldiers we lost in that 20 years over there, the fact that, you know, Biden's withdrawal from that country and just losing, you know, the small number that he did, I say, you know, he did well, okay? Yeah, there was not going to be a withdrawal that wasn't going to cost some lives, okay? This is a war zone. What do you think's going to happen? Okay, we lost people when we tried to get out of Vietnam. Remember that plane there that was full of kids and stuff that crashed? Okay, a whole plane load of little kids and babies and stuff, they were coming to the United States. Okay, people die even in a withdrawal. All right, so ergo, that's what happened when we tried to leave Afghanistan. But like I said, nobody seemed to give a shit about how much money. But when Biden tried to pull us out of there, everybody was, oh, you can't do that, you know, because it's Biden. All right. If it was Trump that pulled us out of there, they would have been clapping and applauding, okay? But in this situation with Ukraine, you know, Biden is trying to help them, and naturally the Republicans are going to try to find any way to squeeze some mud onto this thing. And that the only thing they can do is bitch about money, okay? And they got it in the Republicans' heads that what we're doing is we're sending them briefcases of money, okay? And I know that sounds stupid, but if you listen to how people talk about that, the Republicans that are bitching about this thing in Ukraine, the way they talk about the money is spent, you think the hell that Biden was sending briefcases of money into Ukraine, okay, and giving them our friggin' treasury, okay? And what people listening aren't connecting in their head is that it's not money we're sending them, it's supplies, you know, and it's equipment, and it's food and aid, you know, the Red Cross and everything that we send over there to try to help them out, okay? It costs, yeah, to do that, the shipment of all these things costs big money, okay? To send these things across the ocean, you know, and plus, you know, the other countries that are sending them equipment too. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot of money spent in a lot of ways. Okay, but what he's getting on the end in Ukraine is all the missiles and choppers and tanks and jets or whatever the hell that he needs. They're sending it to him. Okay, to fight this thing. And you know, that's what Russia is all pissed off about. You know, Putin wants the rest of the world to stay the hell out of this. Okay, but that's not going to happen. Okay, and he knows that. He can bitch till he's blue in the face, but the only way he's going to stop it is if he starts striking countries with missiles all over the place, okay? That's the only way that's going to stop, but we all know where that leads, okay? So Putin, you know, all he's interested in is Ukraine. But even if he gets that country at the end, okay, NATO is already chalking up war crimes charges on his ass, okay? And Russia is, you know, is never going to be able to live that down, okay? And the rest of the world, you know, is going to be constantly sniping at Russia for what's happening, you know, today over there. So this is it's just the beginning, you know, in a lot of ways. I mean, even after a year of this fighting, it's still just the beginning, okay? Whatever relationship we had with Russia that we thought was, you know, making things better, forget it. That's all gone now. Putin destroyed that. Any trade that we had with that country, that's all gone, okay? Those people over there are more boxed into their country than they ever were now. Putin's practically denying people the right to leave the country. I mean, he did for a while, but now he's kind of stopped that because too many people have fled Russia, and you don't want that. Instead, he's trying to draft people to serve in the military, whether they want to or not. Okay, and some people were trying to leave before they got the letter telling them to report, and they draft you know, old people and young people, they all across. I mean, they go after everybody. I mean, that's the way the Russians deal with their military, is they, you know, they're very barbaric on how they treat their military over there. It's not like the United States. Okay, but you know, if you don't follow orders, they shoot you. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's really nasty military, and they don't got any rules on how to fight a war, because their troops are raping and vandalizing and killing and doing all these things, these war crimes. I mean, you know, that's what they are. And you know, they won't stop that, because some of the people actually are people that were in prison in Russia, criminals he's put into the military there. I mean, he's getting everybody to do that. And you know, China's helping them out in some way. China is helping out Russia. I'm sure they are. Okay, they're right next door, and China's got no love for the United States. And you know, I know that people thinking that they're just sitting back and watching from afar. No, because China also has intentions on doing things out in the Pacific that you know, they know would start a war. And so with the two countries, you know, together doing what they're doing, they would have a better chance at succeeding with their, you know, separate goals, as it were. So yeah, I'm sure China's helping them out. Wouldn't surprise me. And why shouldn't we help out Ukraine? You know, isn't it fair? And what they say, if it's all is fair in love and war. So anyway, I just wanted to say that you know, people just need to get it clear in their head that we're not talking about sending cash to Ukraine. We're sending supplies over there, both military and aid and stuff like that. And that's where the figures are coming from on what we're spending. Okay, there's a whole lot that goes on that we don't see. Okay, we don't see the movement in this country of things that are going across the sea and what's going over there. Okay, we're safely in our homes watching TV or going to work in our offices or wherever we work. Okay, and we're shielded from all the stuff that's going on militarily in the United States and what's being sent abroad to Ukraine. Okay, that all costs money. You know, moving all the hundreds of tanks by sea or by air. I mean, that's not cheap. That's a big friggin' dollar amount of money, especially with the way prices are with a lot of things now. I mean, you know, it's probably way more expensive than it used to be. And so, you know, just think, people need to stop and think about that before they get too far down that path of thinking that it's all about just cash. Okay, all right, talk to you guys later.